Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today I have a very interesting review impressions for you of a cool little knife that I was able to get from Urban EDC. This is the F5.5, a very, very nice little knife. I very much enjoyed this, and you know, it's one of those knives that I got. There was a really great sale on there, one of those weekend sales. You get a little notification if you get on their email list, and sure enough, I was notified about it and got a great deal on it. And I thought, well, I'll give it a try because everyone keeps talking about this knife. So I did, and manufacturer for this is going to be a Riot made knife. It is exclusively done for Urban EDC. It's called the F5.5. These are Jade G10 scales, which means that they're plain. There's no color dye in them. You could dye them any color you wanted to, or you could leave them as is. And they're kind of called Jade G10 because they look a little bit like the jade material, and it's got a little light green naturally in them. Now, the cool thing about this one is this is a M390 blade steel. It's a flat full grind all the way up almost to the top. It kind of stops right there. And everything about this is titanium otherwise. It's a titanium liners, titanium backspacer. It was original titanium deep mill pocket carry clip. This is a replacement made by Lynch clip that they sold there on Urban EDC that I added to it. Didn't get the black one. I wish I had, but you know, this still looks really cool. I think it kind of matches the edge a little bit. It's kind of a nice touch. And you can see the M390 blade steel right there, right? So really, really nice action. Came out really smooth. You know, I wasn't sure if I was going to be a big fan because it only has a thumb hole or fuller hole for like front and reverse flicking. So I thought, is this going to be, you know, really that fidgety like everyone talks about? And so, well, anyways, it was the fuller, everything, you know, how it opens works fantastic, and it closes fantastically with that finger choil right there. Really drops on your thumb, doesn't cut you. The material, everything is chamfered. It's got nice rounding edges on there, or chamfering on the edges, so nothing sharp and biting into you. Even that is not digging in. Like a lot of times the what is it, the Giant Mouse, the Ace line, they have these little pocket clips that just dig into my hand, and I couldn't deal with them. They were just too uncomfortable for me because the way that were and how they dug in. So it just kind of knocked them out of contention. I haven't really been into them ever since, right? So this works. It works really well. The style is cool. It's a small, very compact, but with the finger choil, you can definitely choke up, and it's got like a jimping up here. So all that works really well. It locks up. It's a liner lock, and this liner lock is titanium. And if I'm not mistaken, oops, sorry, didn't mean to hit the camera. I believe it is, yeah, it's carbonized titanium liner, okay? So they carbonize that, so there's no lock stick or anything like that. It's really, really well, works well. And the cutaway here is really nice, and there's a slight jimping on top of this. So you get enough traction, but not crazy jimping that hurts your finger or anything like that, right? So you can do the slow roll open if you wanted to. You can do slow roll open on the left hand, and then you can do the full left-handed reverse flick. You can do the left-handed forward flick, and you can even do the middle finger reverse flick on this one here. And you can do it, oops, if I can do it right, you get my hand in there, you can do it with the right hand. So all that stuff works really, really well. I like all the ergonomics. And then it even has a little jimping here in the back. So if you ever need it to hold on to it, I guess for any sort of kind of work where you're doing like that, I guess, I don't know, cutting something with the back, I don't know what you would do that, but anyways. Let's go ahead and do some quick measurements. See how much this knife weighs. Oh, that's grams. Let's get the units in there. All right, it should be ounces. Here we go. All right, so it's 3.53 ounces, 3.53 ounces. Not too heavy, pretty light. I mean, it's G10, so that's not too terrible. Let's do a measurement on the length of everything. All right, so the knife is going to be a total overall length that's actually right at 7 inches if you use the clip right there. Maybe a hair shy of it, right? If you look at the blade to the back there, it's just under 3 inches. So it's probably about 2 7/8 maybe, I'm going to say. And then cutting edge is going to be about 2 5/8, maybe 2 5/8 is the total cutting length. If we look at the lengthwise, it's also about 2 5/8 as well. So that's not too terrible, right? Grip wise for your hand, you have about 3.5 inches if you take that area down there. But if we do the finger choil, it gives you about 4.25 inches. So, you know, you can get larger hands in there. So that's definitely worth considering. All right, let's look a little bit at the blade stock thickness on this particular knife. All right, so let's see here. All right, so it's 0.158, so it's a 159 hundredths of an inch, or 106 hundredths of an inch, or 158 hundredths of an inch, if I can get that measurement right without moving. 157 hundredths of an inch. Let's just say 158 hundredths of an inch. So it's right between 1/10 and 2/10 of an inch. It's a pretty thick blade stock for a small knife, but it does come to a very thin edge, which is really surprising, and it strops up really, really nicely and gives you you can see it comes to a nice flat grind there on the tip, but it's still a nice sharp pokey tip. Definitely for like some, cuts. This is definitely, I would consider a sheep's foot kind of blade. It's got the belly, curves over in the top, so definitely a sheep's foot profile, if you will. So that's the measurement. Knife category. This one is definitely going to be in the regular category, around $239. I got it for a lot less than that, I will tell you, but right now it's $239. Sign up for their mail list at Urban EDC, and sometimes you get some coupons, 10% off. You get $10 off, or you can even get some of their weekend deals. Might be worth considering, because this is a rerun of this one, and it's a great knife. Really, really like this. I was so surprised. I was, totally was dead set against it, and totally got my mind changed on it. So that's really one of those fun, things where I enjoy being wrong on it. So there you go. All right. So the purpose of this knife is definitely an everyday EDC type of knife. I really do like this. It's everyday purpose. Really, really handy, useful. It's super fidgety. There's no doubt about that, but it's super convenient to get in and out and to open and close. It's really easy one-handed and everything. Get it in and out of the pocket. It's got a great size to it. It's very functional. Got good presentation on there. Get good grip. This clip, even the original clip kind of bowed up a little bit, so it had a little bit of a hot spot. This one's way better. So for everyday tasks, this works really great. Works really great cutting and slicing through things. If you got to open up cat food, dog food, soda water cases, yard fertilizer, mulch, whatever. This is a great knife. I really highly recommend this. It's going to be a really great workhorse. And so, that's kind of where I think it is. It's the purpose. I think it's everyday use EDC. It's definitely for that. It's not one of these safe queens, I don't think. At least not for me. It's definitely a user and abuser knife. So definitely use it. And the liner lock here, it works really great. It's a full solid lockup, and it's really solid. There's no blade rock. There's no detent, lash, anything. It just works really great. All right. So ergos and feel. The handle design, surprisingly great. Very, very, very nice. Contoured chamfered all the way around. Works really great. I've got medium to medium large hands, as you can see with the finger choke up. Got plenty of room. Here I'm right at the maximum limit, right? Because my finger can go right on the edge. So I've got about 3.5 fingers on this one. But if I choke up the way I want to use the knife, it's definitely, I've got plenty of room. I think probably extra large hands. If you're much larger than that, you're definitely going to be kind of like I am right here. You're going to have a little finger off to the side. And if you're okay with that little angle, it could still work. This could be a great 5th pocket knife for really large hands. I think if you wanted something small that was like a 5th pocket knife, this might be something to consider. So I do like that. I like the comfort, the handles, and everything. The deployment, again, like I said, it's ridiculous. The thumb hole works fantastic. It works better than I expected, and the action opening and closing is ridiculous. And because it's a full flat grind, I usually can just very easily reverse flick it with my middle finger, get my finger in here, pop it right open, especially with the black coating on here. I think it's black titanium stonewash. That gives you some extra traction than like a full satin finish. So I definitely do middle finger reverse flicking if I get my hand in there and it's not slick or anything. Should work really, really nicely. The closing is addictive. It really is. It drops right here where your finger is, and so that finger troll, you're not going to get the guillotine on your nail or in your finger, drops, and then it just drop shuts very nicely and smooth. There's no issues there whatsoever. Closing on all of that stuff is great. It has stayed dead center beautifully. Everything about it works really nicely. Very little oil and works great. The original bearings in there were better than the skips when I tried to put them in there, so I left them in there. I felt like the skips weren't giving it anything extra, so that meant the bearings were probably pretty good. Sometimes you get great bearings and sometimes you don't, but skips are always great. So if you don't have great bearings, they'll always make it better, and if you've got great bearings, you won't see much improvement. So there you go. In this case, there wasn't really any noticeable improvement, so I kept the original bearings in there. But skips do fit, and if you have any grittiness or anything like that, sometimes they're definitely worth considering. All right, so jimping wise, I already told you about the jimping up here, especially when you choke up. You definitely get a little traction. It's nice and flat, so for strong push cut is really good. You can put your finger in there, it locks in there really nicely. You're not gonna choke. If you've got really, really meaty fingers, you're gonna get close to that little sharpening tool part right there. You might cut yourself. If you've got thinner fingers, you'll be perfectly fine. It'll work great. Like I said, it's a nice flat grind, so it cuts really, really well. Fidget factor, I would give this, you know, maximum you can get is a 7. I would have given it a 6 if I couldn't do the middle finger reverse flick, but that works great. As far as what you can do, it's a 7 out of 7. It's 100%. What you can fidget with, fidgets absolutely fantastic. It is awesome. I mean, I can sit there all day fidget this, and I can fidget left and right handed equally and as enjoyably, which to me means that, you know, it's a great lefty hand. I just wish they had a left-handed pocket clip. So sorry, lefties, it's right hand tip up only. I'm sure somebody could maybe make you a custom scale. Maybe they'll make some left-handed scales. I don't know. But that might be something worth considering because it is a great knife, especially as a liner lock. If you get your hand in there and just do a nice regular reverse flick, it works really great. So the fidget factor to me is 100%. It's the best you can get out of 7 out of 10. Absolutely wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And I don't think it needs the flipper. I don't think it needs any of that other stuff. So sometimes when I say 7 out of 10, it means all the ways you can fidget. You have lots of fidget ways. Sometimes having a ton of fidget things are awesome. It can be a lot of fun. Sometimes having just a few key things to do and it works well is perfect and it's great. That's all you need. This is one of those knives. I think it really does work well. My overall thoughts, it's a great knife. I highly recommend it. I think it's something you should consider. If you've been putting it off because you thought it's just got a thumb hole, it looks kind of simple, doesn't look really, hey, you're just like me. I thought the exact same thing until I found this on sale, and I thought, man, I was wrong. So I really think this is a great knife. It is definitely worth considering, especially if you want to maybe get one of these nice Lynch aftermarket deep pocket carry clips. These work really, really great. Gives you just a nice extra, you know, safety and security in your pocket. It works really, really great. I'm going to probably dye this scale at some point, and I'm not sure what color yet, but I definitely was thinking of like an orange or a red or something like that just for fun. The thing about dyeing it like that, if it doesn't work out, I can dye it black and just make it a black scale, and that'll be okay too, right? But I like this. I like this knife. I think I'm highly going to recommend it. I think you should maybe consider looking into it if this meets your aesthetics. Don't let the fidget factor, the lack of one deployment hole, stop you, because it works. It works really well, and it's very nice and very convenient. And you know, you can, if you can get your finger in it, you get nice, easy reverse flick all day long. It's very satisfying. It's a strong, nice, crisp actuation, opening and closing. And I love the fact that it just closes beautifully. It's just buttery smooth. If I put a little oil, it'll just open right up. I've been carrying this and I haven't oiled it in a while, so I can tell, you know, you put a little oil in there and this thing will just guillotine right down. But the nice thing is it won't guillotine on my finger because the finger control, I'm going to catch it there every time. So that's always nice. So my thought is that, yeah, it's recommended. Highly recommended. In fact, it's one of those, I was wrong when I didn't like it and I thought against it. Now I'm glad that I have it and I've tried it. And so here, speaking from someone who didn't even consider this knife and wasn't even in the ballpark, I recommend this knife, and I think you should too. And especially if you can get a sale on it, I think it's worth it. The Sagai titanium would be awesome on this one. If I had known all I know now about it, I would have entertained getting the higher end version of it for sure. But like most of you guys know, if I have one knife, that's it. If I were to get the Sagai, I would have to sell this. I don't like having two of the same knives. I don't carry them, right? I don't collect extra knives that I never use. Every knife I want to use. Like I have two Sakshis because I won one. So at some point I'm going to determine whether I'm keeping one or selling the other, right? So I have it because it's Jade G10 scale, and I'm going to dye that one too. And so I'm keeping a hold of that one. It's going to be part of my experimental, dyeing of my scales. And, it's nice to have an extra one in case I screw up. This one is so nice, I don't want to screw it up. So I'd like to have a test subject first, right? So definitely recommend it. But I would recommend that you also check out Urban EDC, sign up for their sign-up list, get on their mailing list. You can get some extra coupons. You might get a great deal on one of these knives. They may have some different colors that you may like. I know they were selling an orange one when I last checked. They had a white one. It was kind of like their Stormtrooper version. They had this Jade G10, and I think they still had that. They have some titanium ones, and at one point they had the Sagai pattern, which is that beautiful milled pattern on there. It's really nice. So definitely recommend it. It's going to be in my recommended knives, something that I think you should consider. All right. Hey, if you have any questions about my reviews, my impressions, or my unboxings, would you comment down below? I do try to reply to all of those comments. I love to hear from you. Any ideas for new videos, anything you'd like to see me talk about, if anything you have questions about the channel or these knives, please let me know. I do try to engage with everybody. I'm at the point where I have plenty of bandwidth where I can do that. You know, as the channel grows, it might be more challenging, but I'm going to do it all I can right now because, you know, hey, I enjoy talking about knives and I'm happy to talk to anybody about it. So please feel free to comment and ask questions. Also, on that thought, if you like this video, if you found this value, entertaining, or worthwhile, would you consider hitting the like button? And if you've already hit that like button, would you consider hitting the subscribe button? Liking and subscribing to the video really helps out the channel. It allows us to produce more content, allows us to do more things. I would really appreciate that. It allows us just to keep, you know, producing better and better videos and just to do more things for, you know, others, right? So we grow and we'll be able to do more things for the subscribers, have better giveaways, have more interactions with the different channels, get a chance to look at things and talk about them. I'm really looking forward to that. So if you guys would consider that, I would appreciate it. And if you've already subscribed, maybe hit that notification button so you can be notified of the future content as it's coming up. That would be awesome too. Hey, if you've done all that, maybe you just, you know, check me out over on Instagram. I do have an Instagram account and it's Robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's Instagram. It's Robs_nerdy_knives. I would really appreciate that. And I really appreciate you checking out the video today. So have a great day and a great week. Bye.